Hey, Stay, how's it going?
Hey Adam, it's going well. Had a pretty long week, and yeah, you know that drawing with the captain that says, "Oh, it's been such a long week, Captain. It's only Wednesday." I kind of feel like that.
Oh man, what's been going on?
I don't know, just general. I mean, not nothing in particular. My 1-year-old Jonah is starting to learn to walk, and that takes up a lot of energy. It's really fun, but at the end of the day, and yeah, other than that, just I think general. It's very hot in London as well. There's a heat wave, which is 29 Celsius over here, which is laughable, I guess, for Florida and other like southern states in the U.S. But yeah, it kind of feels different.
Yeah, it's like 85 degrees here in Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
But yeah,
doesn't
you
seem
have
like a lot. Yeah,
yeah, even anything above 80 when you're walking around, it's not fun.
yeah,
Most of the time.
yeah. And the houses here are made to retain heat. I read like
Mm,
this thread from a guy who lived in Texas and now lives in London, and he was saying that it's a totally different story in houses over here because there's like absolutely no drafts, no like what's it called when
like
airs,
circulation.
yeah, circulation. So yeah,
Man, yeah, that's rough. Like it's been hitting 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 38 degrees Celsius here.
wow.
but but it's like it'll be like 100 in the hottest time of the day in the sun, but then like in the shade in the morning it'll be like, let's see, it'll be like 70, which is like 20 degrees Celsius.
Okay,
So
that's not bad. Yeah, I could work with that.
but yeah, it's not as fun time to go outside during the heat of the day.
Yeah, I bet that changed really fast. Yeah, wow, we're bearing it. We're here on Hardcover Live, uh, sharing updates. So
Yep.
through the heat wave.
Yeah, other than that, it's been nice like getting back into things after family break. And I feel like the last week was kind of like a recovery and just get things back on track week, and this week feels like back to normal flow of things.
Uh-huh. You getting in the zone?
Yeah.
Do you feel like? Yeah.
Starting to. I think
That's good.
I think one thing that's helped is like, uh so for hardcover there are like emails coming in from people, there are um posts on our Discord. There's like just a lot of people wanting to like contribute to the project, give feedback, report bugs. And I think if I like leave every door open for people to do that, then it limits the amount of time that I can spend building hardcover. So I've been trying to figure out like a better balance so that I'm like, closing those doors at times, or, um, getting that dedicated time to work on like things that need multiple hours of uninterrupted work. And I feel like that's been helpful this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It has it has its balance, I guess. Especially, us being such a small team and having to handle support, which now that we have like quite a lot of users, quite a lot of readers who are experiencing stuff on the site, balancing it out, it can get bottlenecked at times. And we're also supposed to build this whole thing, so that definitely requires like some balance. I guess every startup like faces this kind of a good problem, but I am wondering whether at some point we will need to get some help for support, like dedicated
Mm,
support. I was wondering how that would work with open source, because open source would mean that some queries, especially like bugs, could go into the queue for contributors to solve if we set up a system good enough so that we push those over there.
yeah. it's like one of the things that we did at Code School was that every person at the company from CEO down would like alternate and do like a week of support queue. And once we had like 10 20 people, the time between anyone's support rotations was months, which was nice. And then eventually we hired someone who was like doing that full time, but they would also have to reach out to people across the team to answer questions, because lots of things would require different people's backgrounds to answer. So I kind of wonder about like that, just between you, me, and the rest of the team, like doing a week or two stint on support, and that being one way of like distributing it. And probably like as we do that, I think we'll also start building out like a frequently asked questions, like database of things. So it just makes support easier in the future as we figure out the most common questions we get asked as well. At least that's the hope.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds great. And I think for now they'll definitely work with us in the team alternating. Plus, we already have the FAQ page, and we're adding that as we encounter that. It's very useful because I think at our stage, and I guess at every stage of the startup, it's very good to have the people who are like actually working on the product to support, because you really wouldn't want to externalize that to someone, because those are the problems people are facing. You're the one who's supposed to solve them, and many like stuff that you see on Hardcover is actually the result of people who reached out and said, okay, this isn't working, or I see this working in another way. Because as much as we can try to make a feature that is perfect from start to finish, there are things we're gonna oversee, like edge cases, like stuff that just is like just a better, we do the good like option, but maybe there's a better option, and we eventually see it. So that's really useful to see that in support.
I have a feeling there's a Paul Graham essay about like, you need to be feeling the pain of your users.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's one of the best advices that anyone can give. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're off in some other world and you're not connected to them, then yeah, it's gonna start to diverge from what people want, and you'll be focusing on the wrong things. Like, as much as like I'm working on a new feature, like one of the things we talked about last week on live right now, but like there are bugs and other things that come in during the week as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always a combination of like do some new work but keep everything currently maintained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm always surprised that, as much as we worked on something, there's always like so many steps you can do to improve it. I mean, people flagging stuff, us ourselves, like noticing stuff that could be like improved to a degree, not like even like small iterations, like totally like redone. And for many things that maybe are like better than other book platforms already, uh, we can see like how we can make them better. I think that's one of the cases with that we're going to talk about today with stats as well a bit later, where they're good but they can be so much better. And yeah, now
Yeah.
it's time to revamp them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm always surprised like how much space there is in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like one of the things that I've been doing lately is like um there are other projects in my life I also want to work on, but so many of them I've been like putting off because I have so many things I want to do on Hardcover. Which is like probably not the best thing, but a lot of those I've been just learning. Like I've been learning more React Native, so when we get to that point, be able to better do it. But I mean, I guess it's just whatever's fun. Work on that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good that, hardcover has this pull. It has this pull for me as well. I mean, we wouldn't be working like 3 years in on it if it didn't have like this pool of things you can do and that are exciting to do. It's really, I guess definitely a marathon, but one with a lot of, it just opens up and it's exciting. So
Yeah.
uh there's always like very fun stuff to build.
And speaking of which, for this week, I know we're gonna jump into stats some, but before that, can I share some progress on the progress updates from last week that
Yeah,
we talked
yeah,
about?
let's go ahead. Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
fun to see. Last week we designed this week they're almost live, so
Yep.
coming to you soon.
Okay. So this is where it is now. I kind of like changed the layout a bit based on some conversations on Discord. So mostly I'm thinking we can like get to a final layout idea today, and then I'll run with that and do the last updates, get it all working. Um, so yeah, for the card view for currently reading, it's using these like background colors. I was initially have them for the red page too, but I was thinking it kind of looks a little overwhelming, like scrolling so many with each one kind of being its own box. So I was probably going to make this back to a border divider. But yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I was saying on Discord that maybe it works if we dampen that background like a lot. I think I put it somewhere at 30% opacity or even 20, and it kind of like gave it that structure without. So it was still a card. You could notice the margins, but being subtle, it wasn't like this much, so present. So that would be an option. Also, of course, the border. I mean, we had the border, so we can always come back to the divider. Um, it is more of a card view this way, so I guess, if we, yeah, that looks good as
Yeah,
well.
that's nothing, but there's 950 as soon as it loads. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there anything we could do for desktop to? I'm seeing that space under the cover and, that data. Maybe that data we can move somewhere else or the actual red date. So if we put red in the upper right corner, just above the book button, maybe we can, because even like this, I think there's like some horizontal space we can optimize, and it makes a difference because the goal on this page is to see as many books data on as many books as possible. So if we optimize horizontal space, you're gonna get more into that view, and it kind of looks more balanced right now. That data going in under the cover and that space in the upper right corner not being used at all, that kind of looks like we could put the red date over there, so you just see like the red date or the, yeah.
yeah. I was trying to see if there's like a book with a really long title, because like if there is a long title, it's gonna go all the way to the edge here.
Okay. Well, maybe we can either cut it or we could make the dividers
Like
include.
that.
Here we go. Yeah. I guess, yeah, we could like, let's imagine the red date and the book button is its own divider. Or maybe we could put the red date like on the same row as the rating in this case. Yeah, it's different from book to book. I mean, books with a really short title, they're pretty like.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I do like about this is it's very like like F reading style. It's like, you start at the top right, you kind of go out, 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 like an F, and
Mm-hmm.
then this is, you don't even have to look at this.
Yeah.
You kind of just get it by osmosis.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, let's just leave it like that. That's good enough. No need to optimize some things, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but
Especially with yeah.
I'm good with like this one being in a card, because this one feels like each one is kind of its own little activity center. Whoops, I guess
Mm-hmm.
I need to fix that
Yeah.
page. This is all local anyways. But yeah, like I think it makes sense for, oh yeah, I'm like changing between branches, and so like things sometimes break between branches. But
Yeah, that happens to me as well.
yeah, having the background a different color, because each one of these is kind of its own little section that you want to interact with. I think it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
for them to have a darker background.
Yeah, it is its own little thing, and book progress is pretty particular. I mean, I guess that's what we found out. Updating progress is kind of its own little thing. That's why it's hard to put it in the hard to integrate it in the book button as well. I think this is like the third time we redo it. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. I know you posted a photo that had like an update to the book button that had like a
Yeah.
progress, but I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
find where that was. Do you know?
Oh, it's actually in the book update progress. We can look at it when you go in Figma.
Okay,
It's yeah, I know where it
yeah.
is. It's under book progress. Let me see. Let me double check. Yeah, it's there. Very hidden, but it's there.
Let's see. If you're at it, I'll jump to where you are.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just
here we go. Yeah,
let's
just
see.
to show full. So
There you are.
here.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Let me change what I'm sharing here.
yeah. Sorry, it's a bit messy while we're like developing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like something like this that makes it really clear. So it's kind of like we're getting rid of the update progress row, which shows up when it's only in currently reading status anyways, and changing it to this. And then you'd be able to quickly set it with the slider. You'd be able to click on the 312 to bring up an input to change the page number, and be able to change your edition and have
Yeah,
it indicate what type of edition it is here, like book, audio, ebook.
yeah, and it can be the same like you did it with the icon and the actual like integrated. I'd like that to have like the edition picker integrated with the whole number of pages. So when you tap on, yeah, that thing you posted on
Yeah,
Discord just a while ago.
yeah. I actually like showed that to my wife, kind of doing like a demo of like how would you use this, like what are your thoughts on this. And she she was like split on some of it, so I like went back to the drawing board. And so here's what we're talking about. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you changed it. Now I'm gonna
It's
like whatever you did, probably like even more. I mean, this is like how hard it is to decide when you're working with so many
seriously.
options on. Yeah, what you did was like very smart because we need like those eyes on
No,
the.
because
Ah,
yeah,
here we go. Yeah.
this is how it was last night. The idea is that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 244 pages out of this, and then this 768 pages would be an edition dropdown. And when I just showed her this, like without any context,
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, how do I change the format?" Because she often changes the format between audio and video, or audio and
Yeah.
ebook, and she didn't think to go to here to do that. So that made me think like maybe closer to how you have it before, where it's like this button becomes something kind of like this.
Ah, here we go. Yeah.
And
Yeah. That's like the clearest option.
yeah, kind of closer to like, an actual button, probably not that big, but closer to that without the underline and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But some
Yeah,
easy
that works.
indicator.
Spelling it out's always good. I sometimes get ahead of myself and try to like over optimize, and then realize this is going to require instructions, so it's probably like best to just like put the clearest option there. So yeah, I mean, that's just as good.
So yeah, I'll continue on with this being the addition selector. We can tweak the button and all that, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of most of it. Unless are there any parts here that stand out to you as like we need to change anything?
Not really. I'm wondering on mobile how it's gonna shuffle. Okay,
Yeah,
that's not. Yeah, I mean, we're
yeah,
gonna have to move some stuff around, but it's not bad. Actually, when I did the mobile design, those options I shared in the Discord, it was easier than I thought. I thought it was gonna be horrible, but actually, they got you know uh, placed pretty well.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
guess.
Probably something close to this with the update progress going all the way wide.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's it.
Mhm. I
I
think
mean,
that'll
hmm
yeah, I think that'll
yeah,
work.
yeah, that
And
sounds great.
this addition drop down, yeah, maybe we can even disable or like not show the addition part, like make
hmm
make that like hidden and then like LG inline.
Yeah, if it's for mobile, we can afford
Uh,
to. I don't think it's gonna go overboard, even if you input on page, but it is gonna go overboard when you input the time. You know,
oh yeah,
uh, at it might be right there on the edge, so maybe best to just have it like that.
yeah. And I was thinking like when you click on this like a number,
Mm-hmm.
what it'll actually bring up would be, let me go back to Figma. Could
Yeah,
be
we had a
closer
little.
to like what would happen when you click. So it's almost like this little component. I know you did some other ones a while back for like here. Yeah. Yeah, like this. It's kind of like I was thinking like what if when you click the number, it pulls up like this at the bottom in mobile, but like this is like a
Mm,
field.
oh
So
yeah, yeah,
and it instead of go back, it's just like close. So
yeah,
it's like a one page drawer that just comes up a instead of a tooltip in mobile.
yeah. That's great. Actually, I think yeah, that's perfect. So we have the popover on desktop and the yeah drawer on mobile. I think having that component like universally throughout the app, whatever's the popover turn into a drawer on
Mm-hmm.
mobile, I think that works. It could go well with a modal as well, so whatever is a modal on desktop could be a drawer on mobile, but that's another story. So we could like make it into a universal component and just or just show the drawer on mobile, and yeah.
Yeah,
But generally I do this whenever a popover has more than three options, like let's say I don't know, when you report a post or something, I think we could turn it into a drawer just to make it easier to interact with.
yeah, and so clicking on like the 312 here would effectively go to like this page, which would be the same thing that happens if you click on it from the card itself, and this would this would be pre-expanded with the form field, so you
Mm.
could set it by. So you wouldn't need to like click it again. It would already have like the form field with like 312 already in there, and so you would just be able to type it in, and I guess it would
Yeah.
like automatically save just by editing it.
Yeah, that would be great. This was my next question. If we get that save button appearing, it's gonna shift the layout, and it would be great to just like enter it, and when you defocus from the input field, it just saves it. And maybe you get a tooltip as well, just to say
Yeah.
progress saved, if we can do that. So, they know the progress was saved, but anything we can do to get rid of that shifting layout with the save button is a good move, I think.
I either that or we put like the close button as like a save and then like
Hmm.
like a cancel. But I could
Yeah,
go that's an extra step. Like you're going to have to close either way. So if you click up here, you might want to close it and save, but it's unclear what that would do.
yeah. Plus, I'm thinking about the native controls on mobile, so I think at least on iOS, the behavior you'd expect is you save something if you press return on the keyboard,
Mhm.
or you just press away. It should save it, uh,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
yeah, without you having to press another button. So if we could do it like that, I'm sure it's gonna be like very. And we provide the tooltip as well that says, maybe someone just writes something down, and once they see the tooltip saying progress updated, uh, you know, they're gonna see that actually updates the progress automatically, and they don't have to save anything. Especially if we sync that option, so if you do it by accident, you can like redo it, and it wouldn't like save it as activity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it'd only save the last one you do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's good. So you wouldn't like mistake it.
Cool. Yeah, I think that gives me enough feedback to finish this up, and yeah, I think there's still quite a bit of work for me to do for like the modal and
Mm-hmm.
all that, but it is like saving everything now to like the what we call the user book read, which is like if you've read a book 5 times, like we're saving your progress for each one of those times you read it. But there is a one limitation for this, which is if you are reading a book, if you're reading 2 versions of a book, it's only going to show one version of it on your currently reading page. Like if you're reading a book and listening to it, it's just going to show like we're going to pick one of those and show it. Like technically we could show like multiple, like we could have it say like here's your progress for your audiobook read, and then below it here's your progress for your like ebook read. But that seems like an edge case because very few
Yeah,
people are going to be reading the same book twice.
yeah, yeah. Plus, I mean, if you read it in a format and then afterwards you're reading it in another format, that would save both of your reads, right?
Right.
In that specific format. Yeah, this only happens when you read the same book at the same time in two different formats.
Right.
Yeah, I'm guessing you could just like put the format in, and then like currently make it look like you're reading it again, and then just set the red dates if you want them to overlap. But yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think like showing both options here is something we need to worry about.
Yeah. That
You're
would it
just
would
reading the book, yeah.
Yeah. And like you couldn't have one of these because you would have 2 books with 2 different progresses. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's it opens up a can of worms, but I think it's a edge case. So yeah, I'm good not worrying about it.
yeah. You can pick your favorite format and just stick with that, because if you're reading the same book and listening to it, I'm guessing you could sync the listening progress to the actual book if you wanted to, or just select an audiobook version. And this is maybe a good question. If you select an audiobook version and then you switch to a print version, would it save like your percentage progress? So if you're like
Let's
68
see.
done with an audiobook and you switch to a print edition, would it still be 68% done?
Mm, yeah, that's a good point. I haven't implemented that, but I will make it so it continues. Like it estimates what your progress would be for the new version and switches you over to that. Because right now we're storing three things. We're storing the number of seconds you are into it, the number of pages you are into it, and the percentage you are into it. So if you switch from pages to audiobook and you're 50% done, then we can just say calculate 50% of the seconds and set that as your progress. And then if once you've changed your format, it's going to still be at the same 50% part. So it won't like move.
Nice.
But it'll
Yeah,
say, it'll estimate how far it should be.
that's great.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think,
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds great.
Cool. Well, I guess that's that gets me unblocked to continue on this. I'm like trying to see if I can get this done by the end of the month, but it might be early July.
Still sounds great. I mean, that progress this time, it's gonna be like really smooth, and it would make sense to basically just go through reading a book and update the progress on hardcover, because you won't have that friction anymore. It's a really complicated process
Oh,
switching the edition. Yeah.
and last thing, one
Yeah.
of the things that I was most excited about from it is oops, let me see. Oh wait, this is a incognito window, so it doesn't have the one I wanted. Let me switch to the other window. This I have so many windows open.
Yeah, same.
Okay, that's the window. On here, and I was able to do this with the thing you already made pretty easily. So like if you're updating progress, it animates the dash array,
That's
and
nice.
it counts this up, so it doesn't like change it immediately. It like it like
Oh
climbs
wow,
it.
yeah, that's great.
So yeah,
Woohoo! Here we
that
go.
little animation was like uh, we're using a library for like counting up numbers, and then this one's just a CSS transition all, and then
Nice.
if you set it to 100%, it does little
Boom, here we
stars and
go.
stuff.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah,
So
those little things, those are gonna be like very, very important. Yeah, that's very cool. I'm 100% a fan of that.
cool. Well, do you want to drive in Figma for the stats for the rest of
Yeah,
the
yeah, let's
this?
go. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, this is where we left off the progress. So we're gonna move on to stats today, and where are they? Stats. There we go. So last time we kind of left it at this stage where we had the last designs, we had an idea of how to start the new designs, and I think today we could talk about some iterations from this version, and what I mainly wanted to talk about is how you select the time frame, and how the stats change depending on that. um, because ideally you'd want like three cases. You'd want your stats for a certain year, so you want your 2023 or 2024 stats, or you'd want like a specific month, so you'd want to see how what stats you had in March 2024, for example. And the third and last one would be a custom period. So you'd want to see like what reading stats or how did your reading go between 12th of March and 21st of April. So this would basically give us three cases. And I was thinking, from a technical standpoint, if we could make it so that basically selecting a month would be a custom period, like it would be like a default that selects, the 1st of March up to the 30th or 30th, 31st of March, and just displays it as this. And the year would be like 1st of January, 31st of December, and it would show up here. Oh yeah, here we go. So what I made was this little selector up top, and I was thinking, for you to quickly change it, because some people mentioned that the stats page is really long and they want to like scroll up so they can probably change the like period. We could make this sticky, so it would just like follow your, you could change it like from here every time. And what this would do, so this would basically not be a date picker, it would be kind of like a custom date picker. So you could either select the year and you'd have like all your valid years for stats, or you could select a month, or you could select custom date, and this would be a date picker. So this would be like our calendar probably. So what do you think? Would this make sense? I mean,
So,
yeah.
so let's see. So if you went to your stats page initially,
Mm-hmm.
it would probably be like your all-time stats, right? It would be like
Mm-hmm.
from the date of your earliest book to now.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see.
So it would be like life in books, and it would be probably something like, let's say you started reading from the 1st of March. I don't know. This is the date which is first in your library, and then this is like today's date, 26th June 24. So kind of like this one.
And in both cases, we'd like localize these dates. So like if you're in the US, it might say
Oh yeah,
March 1st, 20. Yeah.
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 We could, we could just do this. Is it like this? How is the US format? We could just stick to that. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, the other way is like year,
sure.
year, year dash month dash DD,
Oh
but
yeah, that format. Let's
that's
not do
a,
that format.
yeah.
Uh, would this be like,
Yeah.
or
That's,
we could just spell out 2024. I don't think it
oh,
would
yeah.
go overboard.
I think that works.
2020. So 2020 was like your
Yeah.
third
I think we can
birthday.
localize that. So depending on where you are, you might see O1 Mar or Mar O1.
Okay. I mean, it's still
Yeah.
good. Europeans can understand this. I mean,
Yeah.
most of them anyway.
So yeah, this would show up when you first hit it. And if you clicked on this like from box,
Mm-hmm.
what would you see exactly?
I think this would be the default. So you'd see like March. So you'd see like this, and you could go back to selecting the year. You could select a month, or you could select custom dates. So
Mm,
if you'd select October, it would change like October 1st. I'm guessing, a full month would be like the most common use case, because your all-time stats, of course you'd want to see those, but I think what's most important for most people is seeing how they did last month or last week, or like, yeah, last month I guess is a good like time frame.
so yeah, that would be, so if you selected February here, or like let's say August, it would change this to August and it would still be until today, right? Yeah.
It would be August, so
It would
yeah,
set the beginning
good
and the end
question.
date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess
That's
so.
this is one of the tricky parts that I was having with the ability to set the dates you read a book too. It's like, since it's a date range, there are so many different ways that people can like want to set both the start and the end date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the most common, I mean, this is like a good default because it kind of takes away most of the options people wouldn't use. So, like, this option would be like when you really want to like dig deep in something. Let's say this was, I don't know, when you were on summer break or like spring break or whatever, and you'd want to like see that. But I think most of the time you just want to see like a monthly stat. uh
Yeah. We should definitely make it easy to see just like a month stat without having to set the start and end date for that month.
yeah, and we could have the custom date maybe, even highlighted somehow, so you could select the custom date. And um if you select a custom date, maybe you get, nah, it's okay because it would mean like a lot of clicks. So if you would want to change like the beginning or the end, you'd just like tap on either of this, you'd get this, you'd select custom date, and it would just take you to the calendar. So it's like just one extra click for something that you set, and then you're probably gonna look through stats, analyze things. So you're not gonna like probably do that a lot, so much that it could become annoying. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong?
I think I'm still like trying to see for some of it, like, because it feels a little weird that when if you were clicking on this part and setting it, that it would also set the end date. So it almost seems like since these two are tied together, I wonder if we should treat them as like one combined date range. But
Yeah, we could
it's
always
it's
like,
tricky.
yeah. You know how airlines do it, where you could like select the date range, or you could select the whole month, or you could, I mean, the whole year. They don't allow you to do that, but you can select the whole month. So if you go to Skyscanner or something, you could do that. Let me just quickly bring up. So basically, when you select the date, they don't have this in the, oh crap, okay, they don't have it in the desktop. Whatever, yeah. Basically, they allow you to select the whole month. So here it would just mean that we have this, and instead of started today, finish today, we have a button maybe up top that says select whole month. So bring up the button. So what's happening? Come on. It's weird that I finally got the mouse working, and now it seems I'm even slower than without the mouse. So back. So over here, you'd get like a select whole month. Yeah, you get the idea. Button, and without.
Gotcha. But yeah, so select whole month would assume that you've selected like one of the dates.
Yeah, so you're in May 2024,
Hmm.
and you know you want to select the whole month without having to click 131. So you just select the whole month, and it automatically like sets it to March 1st, March 31st, May 30, yeah, 1st.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's see. You could want to select the whole month. Yeah, because right now if you click on like May or 2024, it like brings up like a selector.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Um,
Or we could just leave the calendar. This is just like a quick select, so you don't have to do 2 clicks because we know some
Or you
people
like
have. Yeah.
put at the bottom if we wanted to use this bottom space for.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we could do
But
that. Yeah, let's do that. And would there be any other options, like whole month or
that's what I
select
was.
year?
That's what I was wondering. Maybe like I was thinking one of the options that we could have is like a comparison mode, like compare with previous date range.
Mm,
But it's almost like a checkbox button where you would have to like enable it or not enable it. So it's
yeah,
like,
I'm wondering
yeah,
because I know we talked about it last time how compare would work because you'd basically have to have new views for that or what were you thinking to have like these, let's say, we select March and we select February, and you want to know how much you've read in March compared to February, right? That's how it would, like, that's the like description of the feature, right?
yeah, which would only work for some components. Yeah, it wouldn't work for
Hmm.
everything. Like top author, you can't really compare your top author. Well, I mean, you could show who your top author was for both of them, but that's more like creating two completely different answers.
Yeah, yeah, compare mode is kind of tricky. I was trying to like think how it would work, and basically it could just show both components for both time frames, one beneath the other. But on mobile, it's gonna be tough to have a dedicated component for those, at least. It might be fun to do it, but I'm not sure because it adds so much complexity to how we can do components because we practically have to like make specific components for compare mode the way I was imagining it.
Yeah, maybe we like push that off until like last, and
Yeah,
well, maybe by the time we get there, we'll have some better ideas.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd be a much bigger fan of just like nailing these and making sure these are like as shareable as possible. So
Yeah,
the goal for these would be to make them like so good that you'd instantly want to screenshot it or like press the share button, generate an image, and share it to your socials. That's why I was thinking to make it super easy for everyone to just select. So month has ended, we're in June, or we're in July. June just finished. You go to your June 2024 stats. You screenshot this and you share it on social. That would be like the best outcome of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking about something like that, but I ditched it
yeah,
because one, it was a title and it doesn't look
yeah.
like a button. So UI wise, I wasn't sure if that would work.
Unless
And
we
yeah.
did the thing we're doing for the other ones and making this like a like a dashed underline kind of thing where it's like, whoa, I did it again.
Here we go. Let's just put the dash in there. Whoa. Okay, let me do this. I figured out like more
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Doing it with a
the
line rather than with an underline text
yeah,
decoration.
yeah. Mine were better. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Uh yeah, it could work. I mean, it's if we have this, so between having this and having something that stays on the screen that you can tweak, that's my, or I mean, we could have both of them, but I don't know if it's worth making this title interactive or just like focusing on the component that you can change to browse all your stats. So let's say you're like at stat whatever, you're like way down here, and you want to like change the period, you want to change the like month or time frame, instead of like just scrolling up and clicking the title over here, I think we should definitely have something like this that stays sticky on the screen
Mm.
that you can use to quickly change the period instead of having to like scroll. I think like I have a hunch if we ask people, they're gonna mention that like as a thing that bothers them about stats. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
they
does.
said
It does
on
make it
yeah.
easier to use. Like, I think I would do that a lot more if I didn't have to scroll to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Also, might feel more native, but we can do both. So we could do like this, and it works. And if you just want to like edit and bring up this uh, calendar, we can just do this.
What if what if we add it as like a well here's one other concern is if we have this showing all the time, then that will also be there in any screenshots people take for like farther down. So trying to figure out how to make it so that it hides it in a or it's going to show up in screenshots if it's like floating with it.
Yeah, well, for that, I was thinking, you can definitely like crop the screenshot. I mean, maybe you'd want to like hide the header as well or the like
Mm.
bottom nav. And you're definitely gonna have to like, if you're in the browser, you're gonna have to cut some of it uh, because you don't want the browser showing up. But if we do this and we take them to the actual image, or we download it as an image, only this component, I think that'll solve it. So I'm hoping we can make this work so that when you press share, you can get an image of this component as a JPEG that shows up in your phone's photo library, or it saves it to your downloads. Would that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I think that would be cool. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a non-issue. Like you're already going to be having a header. Like it's already not a it's not a um, completely shareable image just with the because it's a website or it's an app. Like you're going to have the tabs across the bottom. There are parts of the site that just aren't going to go away because you're taking a screenshot.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm hoping they're gonna keep the header, but I've seen on Instagram that when people share their library on hardcover, they usually like crop their library, so it just
Mm.
shows like what they're reading. So I'm guessing that's what people do. That's what I always do. I mean, I don't know if it's like that on Android. I mean, it must be, right? But on iPhone, if you screenshot something, it takes you directly in the cropping, editor, so you can crop it and then save it um, to your gallery. So I'm guessing that's what most people would do, or we could put it on the bottom and maybe it's like more elegant that way, so it stays sticky on the bottom and you have it just above the nav bar.
Oh yeah, and then it would be like it would stick to the top, kind of like our nav bar does.
Yeah,
Like it would.
or to the bottom. I mean, it could be like just above the nav bar or
Mm,
stick to the top. Yeah, whatever we decide, we can see in production what works best, but
yeah,
I definitely like have it spelled out like this, uh
I
and
was.
with the title, so it can bring up the same thing when you tap it. And I have a question about this. Could we maybe on mobile, since we talked about it earlier, put the calendar in the actual drawer, so you're gonna get like the calendar
Mhm.
itself in the drawer? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I like that coming up in a drawer rather than yeah, because it's easier to control. It's a more expected behavior.
That would be great. I mean, yeah, I wasn't like really sure because the calendar is like on other website. I mean, it works either way, but I'm thinking if it's a drawer, is more central, more predictable, and it's gonna be like easier to use it.
Yeah. I was looking at our year in books to see how we did some of those components. And
Yeah.
like here's a screenshot here. We ended up with, whoa, these kind of two things on the top, which are the share thing, which we're
Mm-hmm.
moving to the individual components, which I think makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had this map one, which is like the navigation item for it, which allows you to, jump to a specific part. Do we
Yeah.
want any like on-page navigation here for?
Yeah, that was an option, and I think it's gonna work because what if you wanna just like quickly jump to some stat? I'm guessing we could do the same thing with a side drawer. Maybe we could even put it here, since we have the navigation. And when you tap it, you're gonna get like a side drawer, or maybe even bring up another drawer, and you could quickly go to, let's say you wanna like go to your stats page, you're on mobile, and you don't wanna like uh, strain your finger by going to the last thing you're having on here. So maybe each stat can have its own title and you can quickly navigate using this. But I don't know.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna have so many stats that it might even be going to like sections, like pages read, and then those are all the different stats related to pages read, or like authors, and those go to all the different stats related to authors.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, if it makes even more sense to have like this, have sections, and it can just bring up a thing like this, and you'd have like the section title. So
Mm.
you'd have just copy it. So you'd have authors, pages read, what else? Uh,
Do
moods,
genres or moods or
genres. Um, da, da, da.
yeah, a lot of them have only like one, so we might have to even like create sections because we
Yeah,
have
I
so
mean,
many
even if they
individuals.
have one, they're okay. I mean, even if you have like this kind of thing, I think it would work. And yeah, you'd be able to navigate. We want to have like the best stats out there, so that means being comprehensive about all of this. There's that doc you shared, Adam, that everyone can access. So if you go on announcements on Discord, you can get in the doc and you can actually work on the same doc that we're working on for stats, and you can comment and you can edit stuff in there.
Uh,
uh,
And Maria in the chat asked about like, what if for the date range we just have a calendar icon, and when you click it, it brings up a date range,
yeah, that's actually good. Let's see.
which could be like I was imagining, uh, like yeah, there's like a yeah something like that, and then we just say like we just have the text of like the current date range, like March 2024 or all time or
Oh yeah, basically we have this. Wait, whoa. Okay, yeah. Oh, thanks, Maria. That's like a great suggestion. There we
that way
go.
it's not like two different fields. It's like kind of just one that shows what you're filtering by.
Yeah. Where was it? Up. Here we go. So it's March 2024, and then you can navigate. Yeah, this looks very good. And yeah, let's make it maybe not with the title style, but with the text style. Ah, this is looking good. What do you think?
Yeah, and yeah, it could even be like I was wondering like what if we make it even wider. Like,
Okay, so you have you have plenty of space to not misclick.
yeah, that's always one of the things that I struggle with. It's like, or like, the size of a finger as you're clicking needs to be big. It's one of those things
Yeah.
that Google page insights always dings me on if I've made a button too small.
Yeah, I think they're pretty. I mean, I think they're more strict than. I mean, it's 31 by 31 pixels, the size of the finger, so that would be it. Whoop,
Mm-hmm.
here we go. So
Yeah,
if it's at least this, it should be fine. Yeah, there's your finger. Yeah,
nice.
no chance of misclicking. Well, there
Yeah.
is a chance for
That's on you.
most fingers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
I think it was looking good. One uh
yeah.
one uh one thing I'm excited about from this is just like uh generating all of this on the server and just like making it so much faster. And yeah, it's like it's going to be a big technical challenge, but it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and it makes sense once we make it like that to revamp it completely visually as well. So, last thing I was wondering, since we're going a bit we're at time now, uh, about these like things happening here. Maybe like next time we're on Discord, we can follow up by asking people, sharing what we talked about today, and maybe asking what would they want to see over here, because this is like a snapshot and I just put stuff that we had before combined with stuff that's relevant now. So maybe if you're a librarian, you get librarian edits, which could be very interesting, and it could motivate you if you're a librarian to see that and make contributions, and of course help us and make your library even more accurate. So I'm guessing we could definitely do all of these, right?
Yeah, yeah. All of these are possible so far.
Nice. Yeah, and other than that, I'm just like making options. We'll share them in the Discord once we get in a good place. Or for authors, as you can see, we're experimenting with ways we can show these components. We're making them way more visual. So let's say your top author for March was N.K. Jemisin. So we want you to have this like ready to share anywhere on any network you use, or just like maybe save it for reference. Why not? And generally making the stats like very very visually appealing, and tweaking them on mobile, because right now I think for some of them, at least on mobile, they're not 100% optimized. So this would be like a thing to improve as well.
Yeah. And we're talking about like making it so that kind of this section would be kind of the library of all the different stats that are possible for you. And then you could decide which ones of these you want to show up on your dashboard.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. So if you want to show your pages read or books by rating, yeah. And on the dashboard, I'm assuming maybe we can make a date selector as well, so you can like select the date. We should do that, but
That's a that's one of the things that I was wondering about, because on your dashboard you might want to see different date ranges for different components. And if that's the
hmm.
case, then it's like every component might need its own setting, which
Maybe we could make some good defaults. So let's say, I mean, for stats, you'd want to either, I mean, what seems relevant to me is like weekly, monthly, and yearly. And for like pages read, for instance, I'd want to know even the daily. Like
mm,
for some stats, I'd want down to that. I wouldn't want like my daily top author, because that's like, I mean, yeah, that's absurd. But I would want my daily page read if I log every book on hardcover. So it says you've read like on average 23 pages per day, and this is how it varied in the week. So especially for like in places like this is a really hard one. I mean, we come I think I commented in the doc, depending on the time span you choose, we should modify this graph.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, but how you do that, if we allow you to do it like manually, or we just set defaults. So for instance, if you select like a month, you get a weekly view. If you select like a week, you get a daily view, or something like that.
I have a
Yeah.
I have a somewhat crazy idea that might solve both of those problems.
Mm.
Okay, so like this widget on its potential settings are a date range, and then maybe like yeah, so if your date range is months, like you said, you want it to show maybe like the number of pages you have read per month if it's over 2 months or over 3 months. Otherwise, you might want weeks or days. And likewise, on the dashboard, maybe you want to see your pages read over your last 3 months. And then you might want to see your number of total books you've read over the last year on your dashboard. So those are like two different date ranges that you might want on the dashboard.
Mm.
So one way that we could potentially do that is, what if like individual widgets have like a settings thing, and it like almost flips the card over, and on the back of the
Nice.
card we can like do settings for every card.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, I mean, let's put a cog in here. Oh, we could even like do like ellipsis. Let's see if I get this right. Yeah, and you can just like go to like settings if you're like here, or we could like move the share button so it's like way up top, and we could like have this over here, or maybe just have it here since this is more important. And yeah, this one could be like feature on dashboard, settings for each widget. I mean, if we could do that, that seems like technically quite a
Yeah,
thing. But
I think
uh,
yeah, I think maybe setting like the date range. You wouldn't want to set the date range for each component on the stats page. You would only want to do that on the dashboard. So
mm-hmm.
it would be like the settings might show up differently depending on their context.
Yeah, I mean that sounds good. And if you say we can do it, I mean I'm trusting you. So
I just like the idea that someone clicks something and it does that like flip animation. Like
yeah, for that flip.
it's very satisfying.
Yeah, exactly. Doing it for the flip. Yeah, I love that. I mean, let's definitely try making that happen, and it's gonna be good because any stat over here, you can. I was wondering how you can like actually like put them on the dashboard. Let's say you're here and you want to feature this, so
Mm,
this is a good way
yeah.
maybe of putting them on the dashboard, and maybe on the dashboard we can see how you can add like extra stuff. But yeah, doing it the other way around might make sense as well,
Yeah.
and having the settings here.
Yeah, I'm imagining someone using the stats page and they click this and they see like add to dashboard and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's gonna be a moment. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be really nice. Yeah,
Cool.
this is very cool. Okay, yeah, so we made like lots of progress on this as well. I think we can like stop this session since we're already like quite a bit overboard. Yeah, lots to work on. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
I
what happens.
yeah, I think like as we're taking on like bigger and bigger projects, having that like dedicated time to work on these and just like get them to a place where like we're happy and we're ready to develop it. I think we're doing all the right things. We just need to um yeah, continue working on it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think this might be like a good time to start sharing some of the components for feedback on Discord, like especially the ones that have multiple options. I'm curious to see which one strikes like a better feeling in our people on Discord. So, what do you think? Could it be like starting from this stage, or do you want to like wait a bit more?
I think it's ready. I also created this doc that I just shared in the chat, which is it sharing it? Oh no. Well, there's a doc which is like all the different potential stats that
Yeah.
we've been thinking about making,
Hmm.
and mostly like trying to get like missing things that people really want. So yeah, maybe we could do that for this month's like hardcover report. If we wanted to do like a survey out to people, we could poll people on what stats they want to see, and also give a free response. That way we can like get more feedback on things that we're missing.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great. It worked very well for the dashboard to basically, I mean, I think we can like organize them in a couple of options and maybe like prioritize them according to what we think and what we thought about with readers could be like the best, and yeah, have that free option as well, and maybe they can rank them as well to see which one is like the best in their uh, opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, that was the doc. I mean, everyone watching, if you want to like contribute to that, Adam shared it in the announcements, so you can all go in there and comment. There's already like a few comments. It's very helpful if you do that. So definitely do that if you have time.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Well, good session today, Stay. And yeah, I will talk down line and see y'all next week.
yeah. See you all next week. Bye.